Root Mobile presents Amplify Insider in association with CNBC TV 18.
Hello and welcome to Root Mobile presents Amplify Insider in association with CNBC TV 18. I'm Mridu Bhandari. On this podcast today, we are diving into the world of generative AI and how it's transforming customer interactions. Gen AI is projected to create up to 4.4 trillion US dollars in value by 2030, according to McKinsey, making it a game changer across industries. From hyper-personalization to human-like conversational interfaces, businesses are harnessing the power of Gen AI to redefine customer experience. Joining us today is Sammy Mamdani, Head of Global Operations at Root Mobile, a company that is at the forefront of AI-powered communications between enterprises and their customers. And Sammy is going to share insights with us on how businesses can leverage Gen AI to engage consumers more effectively, scale personalization, and navigate the complexities of AI integration while ensuring security and data privacy. Welcome, Sammy. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Give us a sense of what is fundamentally being changed by Gen AI when it comes to businesses interacting with their consumers.
In the simplest of terms, Gen AI is making those customer interactions extremely simple, more personalized, more contextual, faster, more accurate. It's really helping businesses cut through the noise and get at the heart of the problem when it comes to answering customer queries, providing unique content for every individual user. Think about those times where you and I may have reached out to a customer service agent and for any services that we consume. And what is the one thing you hear all the time? Rest assured, sir, rest assured, madam, I will solve your problem. I'll work on it. What happens at the end of that long conversation? More often than not, you come across with no real solution and you're just frustrated. So that is where generative AI and Gen AI solutions come in through a different set of tools where they really empower businesses to attack the problem where it lies, understand what consumers want. And all of this is being done at a very efficient level. It's helping businesses save a lot of costs. Different studies, say anywhere from 20 to 30% of operational costs are saved through the deployment of effective Gen AI solutions.
Right. So, but then traditional AI has been around for some time now. How is Gen AI then different? What is the newness that it's adding to these customer interactions that AI was not able to do?
So when you say traditional AI, you're referring to the older days traditional chatbots that we used to have or other interfaces. Those in nature are very rigid compared to what Gen AI does. Those were rules-based. They had specific responses tailored for a finite set of problems. So it was more rigid than what Gen AI does. And what happened back then when we used to, in the early days, chat with a online tool, you ask a question that's not in the script and you're done. You hit a block, you get frustrated as a consumer, you wasted all that time and you say, all I wanted to do was get my problem solved, talk to an agent in real time, a human being. Gen AI brings that level of human interaction without bringing the human into the picture. It's able to understand customers' queries, learn from past interactions, apply context, provide answers, adapt in real time, have real-time conversations. And it makes people feel like you're talking to a human being.
And today's consumer is also extremely demanding. We want very, very personalized experiences.
Absolutely.
Hyper-personalized, hyper-localized as well in a global world, in the digital era. Now, that's a lot of things put together for a business to achieve. How can Gen AI help then achieve hyper-personalization at scale? Because offering personalization to a select few customers is easy.
Sure.
But how do you do that at scale?
So personalization, it's been around for a while. It's nothing new. Businesses have been offering that in some way, shape, or form. The hyper-personalization that you mentioned, how is Gen AI helping with that? How are we achieving that? I don't think we're still there. We're on our way. We're far better than we used to be. And that is through consuming the ability for a Gen AI model to consume vast amount of historical data based on past interactions, past purchases, user behavior. It can take all of this data, structure it. It can take it in unstructured format, structure it, analyze it, learn from it, and then analyze the trends and behaviors, and then provide a lot of personalization and context to what the user has been doing and to what it needs in the future. So that's where the hyper personalization comes in, with the ability to just eat up data like crazy.
Right. And we've also, of course, had a lot of activity happening around voice, around voice to text, around text to voice. Give us a sense then how Gen AI is transforming these conversational interfaces for businesses, and what are some of the big challenges that businesses face in making these conversations very, very real and human-like?
So, I mean, the technical answers, these AI chatbots, these voice solutions, different AI solutions, they employ natural language processing, machine learning. That's the canned response, right? That's how they do it. In real world, simple terms, what happens? When you call, let's say, an airline, you don't go through prompts anymore. There's a voice asking you, tell me what you're calling about in a few sentences. So it's using these NLP and machine learning models to understand complex questions, understand the tonality of the customer. It can adapt to the user's behavior, past preferences, and provide real human-like responses, so that you almost don't feel like you're talking to a AI agent. You feel like you're talking to a human. So that's where these solutions are bringing this into the picture, and it really helps when deployed effectively. When you can get your problem solved by talking to an AI chatbot, as long as I get my problem solved, I don't care whether it's a human or a chatbot at the end, as long as I know what's happening, right? So that's the key over here. It's and how our business is doing this, again, is chomping up that data, consuming it, learning from it, training the models, creating feedback mechanisms within these models, because they can become redundant or they can degrade over a period of time.
How then does Gen AI also contribute towards prediction of consumer behavior? Because businesses at the end of the day want to know what the consumer is going to want in the future. They want to serve the consumer before they know what they're going to want even.
Yeah.
So how does Gen AI contribute to that? And, how is it harnessing data to ensure that businesses are able to deliver more than what the consumer expects?
Before a consumer knows what they want, present them with what they want. Kind of like that, right? I mean, you take online retailers, e-commerce sites that deploy effective chatbots. Amazon's Rufus, for example, keeps throwing up recommendations on things I don't need, but I really want all of a sudden. So it's taking my past purchase histories, my browsing behavior on the sites, with consent, of course, and analyzing that based on what I've purchased, how much I spent, when I've done, what products I've used, and then gives me a list of things that I may want. That's deployed across the board. Even, for example, if you're using an airline's chatbot, pick any major airline, you go in there and you're using the chatbot to check something about your booking. Historically, you've always booked aisle seats, or you've set your preference to be aisle seats. All of a sudden, that AI chatbot tells you, hey, this is your booking, but we noticed you've not selected an aisle seat. Would you like us to select that for you? So in that sense, without even asking, it's prompting the users and giving them proactive solutions to problems that they may uncover down the line. And it just enhances the overall customer engagement. I feel better because my needs are anticipated and provided a solution before I ask for it.
But all of this is also being built on the foundation of trust.
Yes, that is key.
As a consumer, I trust AI and I trust the machine that I'm talking to. Now, is there a set of do's and don'ts that businesses have or should have for building this customer trust before they really go all in with Gen AI?
Absolutely, I believe so. And trust is paramount. Today, all of us want to know who has my data, how long do they have access to my data, for what all are they seeing, how is it going to be used. Trust is a crucial part, and we're seeing this even globally. You've got privacy and data protection regulations coming up, specific to AI even. So it's a evolving landscape. But what can businesses do right off the bat is, look, there's no 100% data security, right? But there are a lot of things that you can do to ensure that you and your customers' data is secure. A lot of controls you can implement. And again, at the heart of it is transparency. When let your end customer know that you're talking to an AI element. Employ strict security measures. uh, build in fair usage of that data when you're deploying AI models, provide some human oversight, and just be transparent. That's key. And customers are forgiving. Customers will understand. They will accept and they will embrace these solutions as long as they know what's happening. So transparency and ethical handling of this data is paramount.
Okay, so then what are the key data integration challenges that some of these businesses face, and what are the best practices to navigate these?
Look at any business. You've got data across multiple sources and silos. Very often it's by design. And again, we spoke earlier about how you're going to create, hyper-personalized recommendations. You need a single source of data. How are you going to integrate all of that data into a single source? That is a key challenge, because any businesses, you've got CRMs, you've got marketing platforms, you've got your customer support databases, tickets. To make effective decisions, you need information from all of these. So how are you going to pull that through? That's a key integration challenge. That's something where a lot of companies are spending a lot of money on. So how do you do this? A couple of different ways. Creating a centralized content data, customer data platform, a CDP, helps. Create it in a secure way so you can have real-time access across multiple channels. Or also use APIs, application programming interfaces, to connect. They're essentially connectors between different data sources. And that also gives you real-time access to this data. You need a plug-and-play solution essentially for businesses.
Right. And of course, you're constantly training the models.
Absolutely.
But what approaches are most effective for training some of these Gen AI models to really ensure that they drive very, very accurate results? And how accurate do you think are the results at this point in time?
It's getting better by the day. It's absolutely getting by the day. And the way, two key ways of really training the models is, again, customer input. Today, if you look at a lot of the AI tools that we use, it asks you for customer input. Which response do you prefer, A or B? That's a way of training your model, right? That's customer inputs that the model is accepting, using it to relearn and retrain itself going forward. So customer inputs, a starting point is identifying gaps within the models where previously asked questions went unanswered or incorrect information. Very often, a AI chatbot will throw up a response and you tell it, this is not correct. It goes back and it trains itself. So that level of training, identifying gaps where questions were inaccurately answered or not answered, is a great starting point. There are multiple other ways to train this. There are highly technical in nature. There are hybrid approaches where you have static training as well as real-world information that the model can consume, so that you have updated data, but your historical data is also in place so that your trend prediction is accurate.
Right. And then how do you then prevent data drift or degradation of Gen AI models over a period of time? Because we're in a very dynamic environment when it comes to customer interactions. So how do you navigate these?
So data drift is what worked yesterday for a customer won't work tomorrow, right? And that happens when there's no new information, there's no new training coming into the model, where you're still answering today's questions from last week's or last month's or last year's data. So again, going back to the previous example, this is where the training comes into place. To prevent that data drift, you have to continuously train that model, retrain that model, fine-tune it so that it does not lose its ability to adapt and contextualize responses and understand the user's preferences, for example.
Okay, so I also want to spend a quick few minutes on legacy systems, because, a lot of the business systems or processes today are legacy in nature. A lot of the digitalization has actually happened only post-COVID because we were pushed into it. So how do businesses then integrate generative AI into their existing legacy systems or their basic digital frameworks that they might have put into place over the last 2-3 years? Any specific roadmap that, going sector agnostic and scale agnostic, that you can share?
The easiest answer is, again, APIs. To get a plug and play solution, not always easy, but with the use of APIs, with custom APIs, at our end, I know we have a team that's continuously working on custom APIs for our customers, because a lot of these enterprises don't want to go through overhauling their existing IT infrastructure. Why should they? They've got multiple business systems, anywhere from 20 to 70 per company, different applications that they use. So how do you bring all of that together? How are you integrating whether it's AI, whether it's your omnichannel communication tools. How do you bring all of those together? And the simplest answer is APIs. And work on custom APIs. It really cuts out the cost. It helps businesses just integrate new applications, new systems, use new services, and it does it in a very secure manner. So that's the easiest answer.
Okay. So let me then come to this very exciting event that's coming up in
Yes.
Mumbai. Root Amplify is what it's called. Tell us what that's all about. You're bringing together a lot of visionaries under
Yes.
one roof, and what's the agenda for that?
So the agenda is to showcase the latest and greatest in digital communications and digital identity. The idea is to bring, as you said, these industry leaders, visionary thinkers, decision makers to come together, create a platform to discuss disruptive innovation, answer what's next. How do we deal with what's next? And generative AI is going to be at the heart of a lot of what we discuss at this event. It's happening later this month, so we're looking forward to having everyone from the industry and from other industries come together and share knowledge and learn from it.
I want to ask you, what do you think is next in terms of trends, in terms of, global innovations or technology trends that we should be looking forward to as far as using Gen AI in customer experience is concerned in particular?
Look at today, you and I as consumers, how much tolerance do we have for canned responses? How much tolerance do we have for information that's not personalized to us? We're demanding that customer expectation. Those customer expectations are going to continue to grow. So that is one key trend that businesses have to be aware of. You have to have your investments in IT infrastructure, data security, privacy, transparency, everything we spoke about earlier in place. The most exciting part of any of these solutions, it's complex, it can be complex, but the beauty lies in its simplicity. I mean, how effectively does it enhance the day-to-day work that I do? How it's enhancing so many businesses' internal operations, whether it's sales, whether it's tech support, customer engagement, marketing, whatever it is. It's enhancing the processes on a day-to-day basis. It's helping us refocus our human resources on more important tasks, on the bigger picture, while taking care of the routine, mundane, the rudimentary things that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. So that is really exciting. I think that's just going to get better and better. And as businesses and as companies who provide these solutions really build in privacy, data security, and facilitate the adoption by making people comfortable with the use of it, we're just going to see an explosion of this. And I think it's going to be great for everyone.
So I just want to pick up that one point that you said, that deploy human resources elsewhere. But don't you think this is going to cause a lot of displacement as far as jobs are concerned? Are a lot of people going to be unemployed in the next 4-5 years if Gen AI pervades pretty much every business function in our enterprises?
I think you will have a short-term rejigging, for lack of a better word. The important thing is you have to have resources. You have to have your team trained on these models. Today you've got everyone using these models, but in such an ineffective manner. Like I keep using the word shadow AI companies, right? Most companies today don't have a policy yet in terms of how you use AI. Everyone's using it and not using it in the most effective manner. So you have to train your employees on this, on how they can use these tools as a force multiplier. And again, repurpose those humans for more innovative tasks, more innovative projects, something that does not require the same actions to be repeated day in and day out.
Right. All right. Your top 3 pieces of advice to any enterprise that is on the fence when it comes to using Gen AI for customer interactions. Also do mention the cost to benefit ratio for an enterprise.
Get on it. It's inevitable. Do not resist. You have to adopt it. If you don't do it today, you're going to be left behind.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. It's where we're heading. That being said, make sure you have your privacy and your security built in. Make sure you have that transparency into all elements of your AI strategy. And the third thing is, in the short run, don't try and get too complex with it. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg today, depending on what your business needs are. You can still use and deploy AI solutions in a very cost-effective manner and use it to solve the simple problems. And that is where, the word force multiplier that I use comes into play. You solve one small problem today, it just amplifies into some other benefit down the line.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Sammy. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us here. Well, the potential of Gen AI to revolutionize a customer experience is immense. But with that potential come challenges, data integration, model accuracy, and building customer trust being just a few. As businesses continue to invest in AI, the real differentiator will be how well they adapt to this evolving landscape. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Stay with us. Until next time, it's goodbye.
Root Mobile presents Amplify Insider in association with CNBC TV 18.